Man of audio shows. The audio shows are going bye-bye. That's why I'm singing about it. I am Mo Lightning. He is Balls. Am I doing this right?
I think so.
Okay. I mean, I pressed the start broadcast button. I think we're live now.
Yeah, and I saw the thing that said we're live. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's been a while since we've done a wrestling-based show.
There's a counter. I've got to put the arrows back up so I point the right way. They're both.
I thought we were doing Fandango dancing. Fandango. I miss those days of Fandango, by the way.
I do too. I mean, I like the Breezango Fandango, but I miss the Fandango.
Hell, I miss Breezango. And you may be like, wait a minute, Breezango's still around, Mo. This is true, but I still miss them. Because it's not even the fun Breezango that we got on SmackDown on a week-to-week basis.
I was going to say, I miss the crime-solving, spoof cop Breezango.
Yeah, those were good times. The Fashion Police stuff was good, but
Fashion Police.
Yeah, so it's been a while. The last time we did a show, we both needed a little bit of a break, so we did a game night.
Yeah.
But we're back talking the wrestling this time around. Your comments, your reactions, always welcome as always. And we were saying about the no audio thing, even though we are called Wrestling Audio, times are changing. And with that, we're seeing the audio isn't as important as the video stuff is. So the shows that we've been hosting on video, the Low Blow, Table Talk, and Big Show, Triple Threat, sporadically, they're getting importance. So with that said, we are actually going to be doing away with our audio only shows. So if you're subscribed on Spotify or on iTunes, well, you don't have to unsubscribe. You're just not going to get an updated feed anymore. Yeah. And what's going to happen with Dave's shows, I don't know. He and I are going back and forth. At least I'm assuming we're going to go back and forth and figure something out. I gave him a couple options to see kind of where his head's at, but I haven't heard back from him. So we'll see. But we'll give you more details and reminders in time. With that said, this is where we talk wrestling, right?
Normally, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm like, again, it's been a while.
It is.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. All right. So I want to start with something right off the bat. 6 things on my mind. Finn Balor, a.k.a. Prince Dammit.
Damn it.
Or Devitt, if you will. But I'm sure you've read the rumors or you've heard the rumors about Finn Balor and what he wants to do in the WWE.
I don't know.
So he was given an interview somewhere over the last week, and he had mentioned in this interview he would like to go back to the main roster.
Okay.
One of the few veterans of NXT that actually wants to move out of NXT.
Well, I mean, even on his, second tour of duty in NXT, he's kind of done it all already.
Duty,
yeah. He's kind of done it all. So, I mean, why not take another shot? What the hell?
I like that. That's how we start off a show properly.
Apparently. Anyway, Balor's done it all. Why not go back up to the main roster for a little bit for something?
I'm torn. I mean, I see where he's coming from. I understand it because I think he probably has, in his mind, unfinished business on the main roster.
Something to prove, for sure.
Universal champion, and then has to relinquish that title and never really got back to the main event scene after that.
Nope.
So, but NXT, he hit the ground running. Found a new side of the character, of his personality, obviously became a champion again, and has had a run at the top the whole time. But now that he's lost to Karrion, what does he do? A couple times he's lost to Karrion. Now, where does he go in NXT if he stays? Because again, this is just what he wants to do, not necessarily what's going to happen. So let's say WWE's like, nah, you're staying there. And what does he do in NXT?
The one thing that I read was that apparently the writers on Raw have been asking for him for months. They want him on Raw. However, the NXT writers are like, yeah, we have stuff going with him. And if apparently the way the article makes it seem that if Raw can't give him a good option or like a guaranteed like, hey, this is a strong storyline with a lot of importance or push or something behind it, NXT. You basically like, you need to come with your good stuff if you want to bring him up.
I don't think, as I say, again, we don't have to worry about him bringing the good stuff. We know he's going to be fantastic, but if they're just going to bring him up to be in the mid card, to go for that IC or US title again, depending on which brand he could go to, what's the point? You know?
No, exactly.
It's going to be the same thing, same meandering in the middle card. Casimir says he's going to SmackDown, which I think competitively would be the better choice for him, but if you want to go to the top of the card at the current status of Raw and SmackDown, Raw's where to go.
Raw's where to go. Yeah, exactly.
I think we should keep in mind that WWE is approaching, and we're all approaching summertime. So don't be surprised if there's a shakeup, a draft, a trade, or whatever the hell they're going to call it this year.
A bloodletting.
Right. So it could be a surprise that an NXT star is drafted by one of the main brands again.
For sure.
Maybe NXT will be invited to party this year.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
at the biggest party of the summer?
They still may be bastards for all we know, but
they could be. That's what you get for overshadowing us on pay-per-views.
So if he would show up and hit the ground running this week on the main brand, I think he goes to Raw because he could be a main eventer pretty quickly there.
No, I agree with that. Totally.
If he goes to SmackDown, even if he does get moved in the main event right away, he's losing to Roman Reigns right away then.
Yep.
He's not the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns at this point. I could be wrong, but I think maybe with a superstar shakeup, he gets drafted to a show. And maybe that is SmackDown then, but from there, all the dynamics will be different. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah. Any other thoughts about, like, if he goes back to the main roster, can he even still be just Finn Balor, or do we need the Demon?
No, I think he could go up as the Prince, I think, for a while at least.
All right. Time for Tom to fill up his resume. So WWE, one of the head announcers, Tom Phillips, supposedly let go. WWE actually, as of this broadcast, still has not confirmed that he is gone.
No.
But Mick Foley, Dax Hardwood, which is such a great porn name, and others expressing their disbelief that WWE would let him go. But why do you think that is? I mean, we don't know explanation. We know he was caught up in some drama a year or two ago, but
maybe. And that's the thing. I just don't know, because it's not like they cycle people out, you know, when you're, there's no like burnout where you're like, oh man, this guy's been on forever, you know, cycle them through. Michael Cole's been on for freaking ever.
Like 20 years now, yeah, or just about.
Way past the point of me going, God, I'm sick of Michael Cole.
Now you're just accepting of it. You're like,
yeah, you know, like, whatever, man. It's funny, like they bring all these people in, like they're bringing the American Ninja Warrior guy in to work on Raw now,
and UFC guy. In all fairness to him too, so
you know him, what I know him from, whatever. Sure, like there's plenty of announcers. There's, you know, NXT UK. You'd think there'd be places to put Phillips if you wanted to use it, but I feel like maybe they were just, I don't know, just trying to make room.
I don't know. You bring up a good point about them having enough locations for him if they wanted to keep him. But maybe that's the key, is there is something wrong with what he's done. Maybe it's not on the air as much as people like, he's really good. Why did they let him go? And as a play-by-play guy, he did have a rapport with everybody around him.
Yeah.
But maybe it is something off air, and I am using this opportunity to bring up my demons with him.
I knew you would.
Well, because people also ask, like, what do you got against Tom Phillips? Well, Tom Phillips
here we go.
wouldn't man up and say that I just wasn't TV pretty.
Ooh.
You know as well as anybody else that years ago I actually had a push from certain people in the WWE to join the announcer program to see if I can get my foot in the door. I had behind the scenes people. I had Natalia was a part of that push. You also had wow, I can't believe it's been so long. What's that?
So now is a bad time to forget their names.
Right. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not in the system anyway. But I had push to try to get there. So I submitted my materials and, I was told to give it to Michael Cole at first. And Michael Cole says, "Hey, Tom Phillips, my right-hand man, take care of it."
Yeah.
And when it reached Tom, it's like momentum, wall. He is the wall known as Tom Phillips.
The wall of Tom. Yeah.
Now, maybe if that was his nickname, that was it. But anyway, he never really had time to listen to anything. He never really had time to talk to me on the phone or a video chat or anything. I was even going to a show that he was announcing. Didn't have time to meet up with me. And that's fine. It's the show day. I get that. People get busy. But never found the time. And then all of a sudden, when I'm like, "Hey, what's going on? What's the update?" "Oh, well, we're not really hiring anybody right now." Where was this a couple weeks ago? Couldn't you just say, "Hey, we're not hiring"?
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, all of this push off to finally get that response. And then not long after, you started getting all of the, and I hate to say it because there's some good talent there, but you started getting a lot of backstage interviewers who looked exactly the same. On the male side, that all had kind of like the short hair and then the hair slicked back, kind of like poofy.
Yes.
And then you had a lot of backstage female blonde announcers. Or like the Charlie Caruso and like the others with like a little bit of mixed heritage to them that all look this.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just said you weren't hiring, but all of a sudden there's this influx.
Well, that's because they're not hiring because they had just hired 14 other people.
Right, exactly. Just say I'm not what you're looking for. Just man up and just be that guy that says, "You know what? Sorry, we want people younger. We want people hotter." I get that. I understand it.
I also want people younger and hotter. So
right. I mean, at this point, I'm old, broken, and jaded. You don't want me.
No, Tom Phillips and I have the same prerequisites when looking for people.
Right. But I would hope you would just say, "Hey, you're not TV pretty. You're not what we're looking for.
I'm sorry.
Good day to you, sir. Piss off."
We'd be, "Ma'am. Good day to you, ma'am."
Right, whatever. I don't care. But this is just, it bothered me that, I had momentum and then it completely stalled with him. And I just couldn't get even a conversation out of this guy.
I get that totally. And I mean, besides your personal vendetta against Tom Phillips, I don't know much else that happened backstage. Like, I feel like if other things were happening, the internet would have heard something by now. Like, if he was, backstage, if he was a cancer backstage, I feel like we would have heard about it. But
maybe. So, I mean, well, the internet doesn't know all, which is nice, but we do know that he did have some personal drama that did get leaked a year or so ago. Apparently trying to get it on, even though he was engaged to somebody else, and
that happens.
That does happen. But at the same time, it got leaked, screenshots, where a lot of times you hear this stuff, but they can kind of diffuse it quickly. His was around, but who cares? It's like, that's his business.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But I've heard something, I don't know if it's true, but under Phillips kind of taking over the announce situation, he didn't want anybody to have a strong personality.
Interesting.
And if you look at a lot of the talent that have been brought up over the years, announcer-wise, there's not a lot of personality.
Now I'm trying to, besides a Corey Graves.
Right, but he wasn't under Tom Phillips.
That's what I was trying to think. I was like, was he before? I mean, he was obviously after Tom, but probably not under Tom.
And this isn't necessarily to say we don't like these people, but if you look at Charlie Caruso is very talented, but outside of her being a host on the pre-show, where did she get to show the personality?
Yeah.
Sarah Schreiber is no stranger to our live streams. Great personality, doesn't get to show it on TV, really.
It's true.
And then you can start going on to some of the Vic in NXT, another great announcer, fundamentally, but where's the personality?
Yeah.
And I know he's dating or engaged to NXT's backstage female. I can't remember her name, but that's the problem.
I didn't know that. Not that I pay attention or care.
But that's like, I don't remember.
No, I feel like NXT cycles them out every couple weeks, and they may not. Like, they may be the same person every time, but I don't know.
Well, hopefully you got in just in time for this conversation about Tom Phillips here on this one. But I wonder if they realized, and I heard that he had some issues with it's been a long day, not Gronkowski, but that other former football player.
Pat McAfee?
Thank you. Yeah. I wanted to call him like Pat Gronk. I'm like, that's not right.
That's not it.
I heard that he didn't like how much personality Gronk was that's it. I'm done.
McAfee.
I'm out of here.
Pat McAfee.
Yes. That he didn't like that. And I'm like, why would you not like it? But, for some reason, the era in the last couple of years in WWE, the announcers have been minus a Corey Graves for the most part, and Samoa Joe just kind of, he's a badass, so he doesn't.
Like you're going to tell Samoa Joe not to be Samoa
right. Joe. They're all very vanilla, the announcers, and they're building up the talent. But many of us grew up with the Mean Gene who would tell the wrestlers off if they were getting out of line, or the coach having personality, his back and forth with The Rock.
Yeah, definitely.
You had a lot of personality in the last couple decades. In the last couple years, last decade or so, because I think Phillips has been about 9 years with WWE, there hasn't been a lot of personality in the announcer category.
No, I would agree.
Really, only the established people, like when Lawler would come in or JBL comes in, when those guys would do guest commentary.
Yeah,
they had personality. But can you imagine Jerry the King Lawler being told, "Don't make any bad jokes"?
If you could just be normal, that'd be great.
Right.
If you could not be pervy, awesome.
So maybe that's why they just, again, ratings are down, profits are up, but ratings are down, creative is down. Maybe this helps. Maybe if you start getting some stronger personalities and voices at the announce table, it can actually help build characters.
No, I agree. I think one thing I said to you was I imagine Tom Phillips won't have an issue finding somewhere to go. Mm-hmm. But if these are really the issues, and maybe it's different if he's just an announcer,
right?
Backstage training other announcers or staff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like he is strong enough that he could walk into an Impact or AEW or whatever and be fine. But I mean, all I can ask for an AEW is someone who knows the names of the wrestlers and the moves. It's not that hard.
AEW, they have a plethora of announcers themselves right now, but
they do.
We'll see. He is a good play-by-play guy. I don't want to take anything away from Tom Phillips there, but he's pretty much run WWE's announcer division for the last at least 6 years or so. And, maybe now we'll be able to see some of these backstage announcers become characters. Because, like, when you saw the coach standing outside of The Rock's locker room, you got excited.
Oh, yeah.
And not just because it was The Rock. Sure, that helps, obviously. But you knew there was going to be that dynamic.
It was going to be a little something. Yeah.
Is there any backstage announcer in WWE who's going to be standing next to a door that you're excited for? No.
I mean, like we kind of commented, I don't remember most of their names. So no.
I ooze personality. I apply for Tom's open position. Maybe. I'll be like, hey, Devon, give me a job.
First of all, Tom's open position sounds dirty as hell.
It really kind of does.
You oozing anything into Tom's open position, not good.
Moving on, third thing on my mind, a Hall in a Crowd.
Hall in a Crowd, all right?
25 years ago today, as of this recording, Scott Hall wandered into WCW Nitro.
Yeah, with all the denim he could find, yes.
Unashamedly denim covered.
Unironically wearing all the denim he could come up with.
25 years ago, for really what could be credited as the official start of the Attitude Era.
I think so. Like, definitely arguable that's the moment right there.
Some people will say it's when the NWO formed officially and Hogan turned heel. Some will say maybe it's when WCW finally won that first ratings week.
Yeah.
But I think this is it because nobody knew what was going on. The locker room was not told what was going on. And Scott Hall comes out and, the crowd was kind of quiet. Was it because they were shocked? Was it because they don't even know who this guy is?
I think probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. But he ended up, getting a microphone, able to cut a promo, going off on some people. So even if you didn't know who this Scott Hall guy was, previously Razor Ramon, you're still like, okay, this guy's got to be somewhat important. They're giving him some TV time.
There's something happening right now. Yeah.
So 25 years ago, God, we're old.
Right.
25 years. And I remember watching the TV shows and I'm like, what's Razor Ramon doing on Nitro? It's like, it was a big deal because people jumping and you didn't expect, eventually we ended up expecting if you were of any name value in WWF, then you would jump over, but not at that point. We hadn't gotten there yet.
No.
It was a big deal because even though WWE's product was arguably at an all-time low, they still had higher ratings than WCW at that time. But they went over where the money was, and 25 years ago today, the Attitude Era, which everybody looks upon so fondly, kicked off. Although, if you go on Peacock and watch the few offerings they have from the Attitude Era, or in general, great move. Your Attitude Era really wasn't that much better than it is today. We just remember the crowds were hot, and that helps a lot. And the main event stuff was fun with Stone Cold and The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, and even on WCW, Goldberg, Hollywood Hogan. So there was exciting stuff, but you look down lower on the card, there was some bad stuff, man.
No, I agree. It is looked on with all this funness, but it's definitely rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Like you don't remember half the crap that happened, and you're like, did that happen? Yes. Yes, it did.
I mean, it's easy to look back on how great it was because you saw people with their NWO or their DX shirts all over the place. You saw the shirts everywhere.
Yep.
Ratings were up, crowds and the signs. I do not miss the signs.
I do not either.
Because, I'm going to bring this sign, and then that person's right in front of you the whole time, and then you can't see a damn thing.
Yes.
But
that guy is also a dick who doesn't want to put his sign down.
Yeah, business is booming. I do remember going to shows with my friend Jeff back in high school, and Jeff at that time was actually training to go into MMA. So he was, vicious at that time, and there would be people that would hold up signs, and he'd be like, all right. He'd lean into him. I'm going to give you one warning. Only put that sign up when that star's in the ring, or I'm going to take it. And, once or twice it worked. Other times people would be like, F you. And then they'd hold up their sign. He would immediately take it and rip it to shreds. And then, of course, the guy turns around, puffs up their chest. Like, what are you doing? And then they just look at Jeff, who, again, training for MMA, just gives you the whole look of, I will kill you.
I will kill you.
And I think people really realized he wasn't messing around when he did it to a kid. There was a kid, and he's like, kid, I'm telling you, don't keep putting that sign up. Kid kept doing it, so he took the thing. Kid was 9 years old. So nobody should miss the signs, is what I'm saying.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so hard to believe. 25 years already. Velveteen Dream away.
Oh.
Velveteen Dream gone from WWE. Some people saying finally. Others are saying, wow, that took longer than I expected. And others are like, eh.
Others are like, who?
Yeah. There's some people that I know that are happy because of the personal reasons. I know people that are happy because they just didn't like the character, which that blows my mind.
Yeah.
How dare originality happen?
That's the thing. If you can separate Velveteen Dream from the backstage stuff, I will miss the character. Like, I enjoyed the character on TV.
And he was a good wrestler. You know, it was one of those, like, you saw him get better in time.
Yes, definitely. He started out at like Tough Enough season 5, I think.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those, but he was one of those guys that, you know, obviously didn't make it, hung out, worked on it, got hired later. But then all the stuff backstage, not only the like illegal or like issues, but you know, you hear stuff that people were scared to talk about it because of how well he was protected with the higher ups in NXT, which sounds crazy, but if you look at it, like, I get it. Like, I feel like Triple H, I don't know that Triple H has ever been called out as the person protecting him, but you look at some interviews and some of the ways he's talked about Velveteen Dream, I feel like Triple H was watching his back some.
Yeah, I agree with that. We also know people that have interacted with him and said that he was very unprofessional, which that's why he was eliminated from Tough Enough. If you go back, he was, you know, belittling his fellow contestants because they didn't know as much about wrestling as he did.
Man, I don't remember that, but
yeah, because that was in the season with Paige and Hogan as the judges.
Okay, yeah, yes,
and he was a part of that season, and I remember that was the reason. I think Daniel Bryan was a guest judge that week, and Daniel Bryan says, "You could be the smartest person in the world, but you don't belittle your partners, even though you're competing against them. They're your family right now. You don't belittle them to make yourself better."
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a huge guilt trip that, you know, was falling upon Patrick, if you will. And, you know, it would be nice to know that maybe he learned from it. Sounds like he didn't. Of course, some of the allegations against him include soliciting minors.
Yeah.
He released a statement this week with a lot of facts, a lot of detail, and maybe not facts, but detail, chronicling why he's innocent and why he was kind of pushed out for. WWE never found anything. Like, they never suspended him. They never did anything to find this evidence. Yeah. But maybe they realized after all this time it's not a good get. Maybe they realized he was a pain in the ass to work with.
Yeah.
I'm not a member of cancel culture. I don't feel that this guy's whole life should be ruined, because if he did it or not, the child solicitation, people can grow from it. It doesn't sound like he did anything physically with any of them.
Yeah.
But again, where's that line of this is unforgivable, but this is forgivable? You know, that's tough. So I'm not saying he should keep his job either, but hopefully this becomes a reality check for him. And he doesn't just jump over to another company and like learn nothing.
The Cashmere Nightmare.
Right. The corduroy daytime nap. But I hope that we see him again. Like, you know, a lot of stars in the past have been fired from WWE, and then they're brought back a couple years later, and there's like a rejuvenation. I would like to see him get another chance, but maybe right now is a good time to reflect on some decisions he's made.
Totally.
Yeah. So I'm sad to see him go, but if this is the best for him as a person, good. Good. I'll agree with that. Setting the bar low, Wardlow. Jim Ross asked which AEW talent has the it factor.
Ooh, the it factor.
The it factor, and he mentioned Wardlow. Okay, all right, I'm listening. Okay, and then JR continues saying that he's kind of like a Lex Luger, but better in the ring.
Okay,
and he said, and he admitted Luger got better over time, and then he goes mixed with Batista, who got better in time. And I just think to myself, I don't know if I like that combination. Both ended up having great careers. Lex not known for being the best in-ring competitor, but he had a good character. Obviously, WWE seemed to love him for the time. Lex Express and everything.
Come on, the narcissist?
Right. I mean, Okay. Batista, now it's easy to look upon what he's done as great. Now that he's a star and he's not as angry as he used to be. But I remember when Batista was in the height of his popularity in the wrestling ring, and he was very open about, well, if I'm going to lose, I'm not selling anything, but I will sell if I'm going to win. I'm like, I don't want Wardlow following in that direction.
No, that's not.
I don't want anybody following in that direction.
It's not a good example for anyone.
Yeah. I mean, physique-wise, being like Lex or Batista, that's a good thing in pro wrestling. But I don't know. I just see those. I hear those two comparisons, and I'm like, ooh, that's not good, because I didn't really like either of them on the microphone.
That's accurate. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know. We haven't seen a lot from Wardlow in AEW, so I am very curious to see what we're missing out on. Is he really that good, or is this going to be another Tyson Tomko situation?
Ooh. Yeah.
Tomko had this great future. Of course, the partner, the bodyguard, whatever, the associate of Christian, and Christian Cage, and was going to be, this great thing. He's got all those cool tats. He drinks Rockstar energy drinks. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I just assume because of the tattoos he did.
Axe body spray.
Right. Yeah. And nothing. It didn't work out for him.
Affliction wife beater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wore all the Under Armour before everybody wore the Under Armour. Yeah.
More importantly, is Tyson Tomko alive? I feel like he needs an AEW resurgence.
That's a good question. That is a good question. Why not? Especially since we love factions and whatnot. Why not we just have former partners of Christian? We put Jericho in there because, Inner Circle's probably done after this weekend. Why not?
Whoa. Spoilers.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Last thing on my mind before we move over to Double or Nothing thoughts, our non-wrestling topic. Balls is craving a different Craven.
Yes.
So Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron, who's been kick-ass.
Yeah.
And other projects, is apparently going to be Kraven the Hunter, the Spider-Man villain in the Sony spin-off movie. And you're not thrilled with that.
No, I feel like there are many different options. I also kind of feel like he's too young. I feel like Kraven the Hunter as a character, I always looked at, into adulthood, not like, and probably Aaron Taylor Johnson is probably older than I think he is, but he plays young characters. So I feel like, he's in his late 20s or whatever.
Right.
I imagine Kraven the Hunter is 40. He's a jaded hunter who, is trying to find the best. I just felt like Carl Urban in his look from The Boys would be a perfect Kraven the Hunter. And he has that dynamic where he's older than the young Spider-Man.
Right. So Aaron Taylor Johnson turns 31 in a couple weeks' time.
Okay.
So comparatively, if it is going to be if we're ever going to see Spider-Man versus Kraven, which may happen in a spinoff, may not.
Yeah.
Then compared to Tom Holland, he will look older. But like you said, the way he's been presented in the comics for decades, is that it's a guy that's been doing it for a long time and he's bored.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate game, killing Spider-Man. Will they even follow that story at Sony Pictures? Who knows? Yeah, they seem to like their anti-heroes because, we got Jared Leto's Morbius, which looks like he'll be an anti-hero. Venom, the new trailer, Venom's cracking jokes the whole time.
Yes.
So who knows? So it may not even matter. Maybe we'll be happy he got cast in this role because it's not Kraven at all.
It's not Kraven, no.
But at the same time, there have been castings in the past that people scoffed at right away. Heath Ledger being always the first example of well, shit, son, that was pretty good.
Huh.
Wait, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yes.
Wait, the gay cowboy from Brokeback Mountain is going to be the Joker? And he was a damn fine Joker.
He was a damn fine Joker.
So maybe they know something about Aaron Taylor Johnson that we don't know, but apparently they approached Brad Pitt about this role. They approached some big names. Was Carl Urban on that list? I don't know, but
they approached big names and they all said no. And then they went to Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And maybe it's pay, maybe it's like, no. I looked at that script, no.
I think it's like, oh, it's MCU, and they're like, no, and they're like, oh.
It's the Sony version where we work with the MC. Hello?
Hello? Well, there's going to be a tiger.
So, it'll be interesting. I'm willing. I want to see it in action. I want to see that first still shot, the promotional shot. I like him. I like the guy as an actor. So I'm curious to see what he'll do, but he would not have been my first choice either.
No, if he doesn't have like the giant Fu Manchu with like giant leopard print outfit, it's not my crazy.
There's gotta be a lot of fur. If there's not a lot of fur, why? Why even do it?
No, you're just doing it wrong.
Exactly. All right. So I think we're doing it right. We got through the 6 things, and now we got Double or Nothing, which things could change. We may find out more competitors in some of the different matches because things are happening, as in Dynamite is happening tomorrow.
Yes.
Not yesterday, tomorrow.
Postponed.
We are not recording a day or two earlier. No. We are recording same time, but it's confusing.
Yeah, stupid NBA.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
Is this why they went to TBS? The Superstation?
No, I think actually TNT is going to be welcoming hockey.
They are going to do
2022.
That's what I thought.
So might as well just get people trained now, which, as Eric Bischoff pointed out, is actually a good thing because you already got the TNT fan base, which will know they're moving over to TBS. But now maybe you're going to be able to get some new viewers on TBS that are like, this isn't that bad.
Yeah, the wrestling thing.
Or better than more Medea reruns. I don't know.
That's true. I don't even know what's on TBS. I'm going to assume you're right and it's Medea reruns.
Yeah. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that. First time the Suns have been in the playoffs for 11 seasons. Thank you.
Oh, it's because they suck.
Number 2 seed overall in the NBA. All right. So we don't know what's going to happen to Double or Nothing, but we do know the big matches anyway. So, Balls, I toss it over to you. Where do you want to start?
I think we start at the beginning. I think we start with the Casino Battle Royale.
Sweet. Which casino do I need to go to be a part of this?
Well, any local one, I think, will let you gamble. If you're placing bets, though, probably somewhere else.
Okay.
Courtesy of Bet Online is where I found all these matches anyway, because they do have all the rankings and odds.
I wonder if DraftKings will have anything for AEW this weekend.
That'd be funny.
I will be looking.
All right. So one thing I thought was interesting, they actually announced 20 out of 21 people. And maybe the 21st gets announced tomorrow.
Right.
We don't know.
Or it's a surprise.
Or it's mystery entrant. So
big surprise.
Quickly run through the 20 that are in this match. Christian Cage, Penta, Jungle Boy, Hobbs, Matt Hardy, 10, Max Caster, Nick Camarado, QT Marshall, Evil Uno, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Queen, Colt Cabana, Matt Sydal, Griff Garrison, Pillman Jr., Anthony Bowens, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, The Blade, and then a mystery opponent.
I was having fun doing that while you. So who's the mystery opponent? What do your inside sources say?
Well, what's funny is like you go through the list and you kind of go, oh, well, where's Luchasaurus? You're like, all right, Jungle Boy's here. Where's Luchasaurus? Is he hurt? They don't do the best job of, acknowledging their injuries. Like Phoenix is not on here, but I feel like Phoenix is hurt.
Right, I believe he is. Yeah.
So, mystery opponent. It's like the Blade, but there's no Butcher. But I also know the Butcher is in a band, so maybe the band is performing somewhere.
Band is back together, baby.
They got the band back together. Got that COVID stuff over with. We're going to perform now. I did notice, I feel like we're definitely missing some members of the Dark Order. And we have definitely
-1,
more.
for instance.
What's that?
-1.
Well, yeah, that's the mystery opponent. But yeah, and there's a lot of like Matt Hardy's entire group is here, so I feel like they're definitely going to gang up on people. A lot of the factories here, QT Marshall, the giant barbarian guy, Nick Camarado.
Yeah.
Mystery opponent. Is there anyone out there that you can think of that's not in the company that would make a splash? Because the mystery opponent last year was Matt Sydal.
Right. And he made a splash, not in the right way.
He infamously screwed up his entrance into the Battle Royal. Think of anyone.
If we're talking about free agents, no. Because I don't think the WWE cast-offs, the layoffs, like a Samoa Joe, I don't think he's eligible for that.
No.
So I think that's too soon for some of those names.
Yeah, even Alexander Wolf, who only has a 30-day, it's not anywhere near 30 days for him.
No, I think this is where the partnership with either New Japan or Impact pays off.
Ooh.
I think it's either Moose from Impact kind of jumps in there because we don't see a lot of those people.
You're right.
Jumping in or in New Japan. There's a lot of unease in New Japan right now with some stars having COVID, other stars saying, well, we're not traveling there anytime soon, so I'm going to wrestle here. And so I could see it being one of those. Is it going to be an Ito return? I don't know. At this point, just to pick one name, I'm going to say Moose.
Okay. No, that's good. I think I'm going to probably go the New Japan route and probably Kenta again. I mean, would he be a big splash? I don't know. It would be fun to see him again, but he's local enough. He's in Orlando.
Right.
You can use him, and he's a name that would be like, oh, that's cool.
And you could promote New Japan. Yeah. I mean, you could promote that, he's a part of that. I think either way, whoever the mystery opponent is probably is not going to get that win, though.
No, I agree with that.
Who do you think the very first name you mentioned, Christian Cage, I think is the guy that wins it.
He has the highest odds on the website that I'm looking at over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Christian Cage. If I do not want to pick the same person as you, I'd probably go Penta. I think.
Yeah.
Pentagon, El Zero Medro.
Yeah. What about this one? Daniel Bryan is the mystery guy.
I mean, technically, he has no non-compete to my knowledge. I have no insider knowledge, but
that would be huge. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think Daniel Bryan's jumping anywhere. I think he's taking time away. He's going to go back to WWE, right or wrong.
Yeah.
That's where his wife is.
Is his wife there technically?
She's still an ambassador for the company, and it seems like they're training for a return. So,
no, okay, that's true.
And one of those, like, even if she's not a full timer back,
I
don't know. I just don't see him being the one to make it more difficult for her that he's jumping over to the competition. Yeah. And I don't know. I think he's just going to go back and just be a part of the system, help young talent out. But we'll see. He may have a completely different mind.
I mean. And that's kind of where it all depends. If this is on the pre-show, it's not going to be a huge name.
Right.
Daniel Bryan is the mystery opponent and then put it on the pre-show. Although, however, you want to buy that pay-per-view, that's exactly what you do.
That's a good point. And all because we're talking about somebody who may be announced tomorrow on the show, as you said. It could be Kaz. It could be Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that they don't have their SoCal anymore. So we will see what happens. But what else we got?
Okay, let me see. So let's go with Adam Page, Brian Cage.
Page in the cage.
Exactly.
Raging Page in the cage.
Goes mainly on the gauge. Stage. I like stage better than gauge. All right.
I think Cage gets this one. Hangman just doesn't seem to be getting the love that the rest of the elite and that crew of friends have gotten over the years. He's holding his own, but I don't know. I think you also brought in Brian Cage, who, he's doing all right for himself, but I'm sure he has bigger aspirations as well.
Goals than what he has. I'm going to agree with you. While I think Hangman's doing okay, I think Brian Cage actually kind of needs this to move somewhere.
That's the problem with AEW and bringing in so many talents that have a creative control to some extent. Is we say this all the time. When is the frustration going to start setting in? Now, Miro is your TNT champion, which is great.
Yeah. How
long will that keep him even keel before he's like, all right, I want to move up the card a little bit?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Some guys you just mentioned. You mentioned SoCal. So let's talk Sting and Darby Allin. Sting wrestling the first time live with Darby Allin against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Ethan Page in the cage. Turn the page.
Right. What an age we live
in.
What an age. I'm actually going to give it to Scorpio and Ethan.
Awesome.
I think they pin Sting.
Ooh.
And they get a little bit of live crowd heel heat for that.
Oh, I think it'd be awesome.
And maybe Sting wonders, do I still have it? Can I still compete with the young talent? And then Darby's like, yes, you can, Papa.
Yes, you can, Pa.
Something like that. I don't know. Mister, you can't give up. I don't know. Whatever he says, but
Grandpa, wake up. It's time to wrestle.
Right. Yeah. The Chocolate Factory? With that crazy kook? No. I think it's going to be a good day for Team Taz. I think they're going to have some. Are they not a part of Team Taz? I thought they were a part. That's what happens when there's so many factions. I don't even know who's in what anymore.
I mean, we can just assume they're members of Team Taz. I don't think so, but
I thought they were sent out by them at one point, but maybe not officially part. I don't know. I don't care. They're going to win.
I think they were in
going down.
They were in cahoots.
Yeah, cahoots.
I'm still going to go with you can't bet against Sting. I like your storyline better, but I'm going to go with Sting and Darby.
Okay. All right. It's fine to be wrong.
I hope I am. Because, Sting going all, mopey Sting, wondering if he still got it. And Darby trying to teach him to skateboard like that, to me, is just television gold.
Well, also, I think you have to watch how many of these previously established stars you get over in one night. So let's say I am correct with Christian Cage winning earlier in the night.
That's true, yeah.
Is Big Show ever going to wrestle, by the way, Paul White? Is he?
Probably not, no.
I was going to say, because we got a mystery spot in the Battle Royal.
Well, yeah, I think they've already announced that Paul White is commentating the Battle Royal.
Okay. Well, it doesn't mean he can't jump in.
No, I was going to say, that doesn't mean he can't be like, number 21, it's me! You were wondering why I had a singlet on. Yeah.
Pulls out his back, tears a kneecap, all just for lifting the table, but they still let him win anyway.
This is a lot heavier than it looked. You mentioned him earlier. Miro, TNT champion, Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk Monster.
So, who am I supposed to cheer?
I think Miro, although Lance is, I don't know.
I mean, so Lance has been sticking up for standing up for Cody lately, or for something? Yeah.
He's been doing something with the something.
Oh, Miro's attacking his best friend, so I'm assuming he's the heel.
Yeah.
At least the true heel, lowest level heel. And then you got, Lance Hoyt right here.
Yeah.
You got the marriage breaker Lance Hoyt here, Miro here.
Yes. So Lance is somewhat of an anti-hero.
Yeah. So Sony should pick him up for Kraven the Hunter.
He would be better than Taylor Johnson.
He's got a good build for it.
He does.
Yeah.
Cool mohawk. Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Miro. I mean, he just won the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't imagine they hot potato it off of him and how that's going to work for him. But it'll be a good match, though.
No, I agree. I think that's, you got to go with Miro on that.
I am going Miro with that.
You never go full Miro.
Well, no, not full Miro.
Cody Rhodes, Anthony Ogogo.
He makes me want to like dance.
Go.
Anthony Ogogo. Yeah. Cody.
Yeah. Yep.
Great stage for Anthony to turn some heads and start making a name for himself, but I don't think he's there yet to upset Cody Rhodes on pay-per-view.
No, but Anthony's that guy who, the announcers he was, an Olympic boxer. So they're trying to, really sell that he could punch you and it'll hurt. As opposed to, all the other guys who punch you and it doesn't hurt as much.
I do love that Cody Rhodes had to go on the record to say he's not trying to mansplain the anti-racism promo that we live in wild times, my friend, where you have to explain a promo as a character in pro wrestling still.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm going Cody Rhodes as well. However, depending on how close to having the baby Brandy is, I could see this as being how Cody gets paternity leave.
Right. That's a good point. So maybe he wins the match, but not the war.
Yeah. And then the factory just beats the crap out of him.
I could see that. That's a good
point.
And
then 17 members of the Nightmare family come out to try to save him.
So right now, we could see Christian Cage, Sting, and Cody Rhodes all win on this pay-per-view so far.
Yes.
Again, they got to reel back on this. So,
okay, we'll go with it. Here's a match with really no WWE sort of relatability. Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker.
This is Britt Baker's time.
God, I hope so.
Britt Baker has been your most consistent, most entertaining female performer in that division since day one.
Yep.
But has especially stepped it up over the last couple of months on air and off screen even. So she just had it for over a year now. And I would not have guessed that. So that right there tells you that her run has been okay. All right.
This is the problem. And we've been pretty vocal about this, about the AEW women's division. There just aren't. And you don't want to be mean, but it's like, there's not many characters. Britt Baker's like the only character.
Right.
Like there are some really good female wrestlers. But damned if Britt Baker isn't the only actually like character that you want to see wrestle.
I mean, Statlander, now that she's back from injury and with the best friends, is obviously going to get some great momentum.
Yeah.
But she's not there yet.
No. And, it's bad when Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, who aren't even in technically AEW,
right,
are like the best other female characters.
Yeah.
Or just wrestlers in general. It's like, come on.
I mean, Ty Conti's on her way there. Red Velvet.
Yeah, Red Velvet.
She's good. Cargill is good. I mean, like the next level's ready to go soon.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, though. You want to know who's going to take them there? Britt Baker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
And she better get a damn figure soon.
Right? Or else she's going to quit.
Yeah. She put that warning that if Christian Cage gets a figure before her, she's going to quit.
No, yeah. That's what we should have talked about was what figures do you think are going to be announced at the AEW fan thing before the event? But
there's going to be a build of Brian Cage.
Because
he's too big for the packaging, so they have to put him in pieces.
That'd be freaking hilarious.
That would be great.
Tag titles, Young Bucks versus Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
I'll give it to Young Bucks.
Do you? I hope Moxley and Kingston take it.
You hope they win the belts, huh?
I do.
I would like John Moxley to share the love and let somebody else hold some gold for a while. And
no, I mean, let's be straight up. The only way Kingston's winning gold right now is if Moxley helps him.
You have nice women down there.
Greetings to Brazil.
And food. You have great food down there, too.
Yes.
Feel free to send that up to us. Both. Either one.
Either women or food. No, Moxley and Kingston, great chemistry.
Oh yeah,
I feel
I like the Young Bucks character though. I like
Oh.
this whole holier than thou, fancier than thou, better
Yes.
than thou. I mean, I like it.
Oh no, I do too. It's like the worst time for me to want a title change, but yeah, I would love to see, because I don't know, Moxley and Kingston, do they get more chances at it if they don't win this? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think the Young Bucks retain, maybe only because there is a great chemistry between Moxley and Kingston, but they're not always on the same page.
That's true.
And I could see maybe just a small miscommunication being enough for a super kick party to be attended, and they retain their gold.
All right. 2 more matches left. Stadium Stampede, the Pinnacle
Yeehaw!
versus the Inner Circle. And I feel like I know who you're calling for this.
I am calling the Pinnacle.
No kidding.
It's time to get rid of a stable finally. Finally. Oh, I've been waiting for this day for so long.
It's not going to happen. I mean, the Inner Circle, I think, will always be around.
No, there'll be little homages. There'll be like partnerships here and there, but you got version 2.0 LAX gonna go do their own thing. Jericho, I mean, Fozzie's gonna start touring again soon. So
that's what I was kind of wondering, was that Fozzie's gonna start touring, and then
Jake Hager is gonna. I don't have no idea what he's gonna do. I really don't. No clue.
No.
And then who's the 5th member? Harvey Whippleman. Who's the 5th guy?
Sammy Guevara.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that was close. That was close. No, maybe like it's just Guevara and Jericho for a little bit before Jericho moves aside or something. But the Pinnacle's good. The Pinnacle's great, and heel factions. We don't have enough of them.
Do you think though that the Pinnacle gets 2 major wins in a row? They get the.
Yeah, and I don't think the Stadium Stampede is also going to be as humorous as the first one was.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be
hard hitting.
Hard hitting, yeah. You don't go from blood and guts and then go comedy. I don't think.
Right.
I'm not saying you can't. You shouldn't go blood and guts and then go comedy.
I'm sure there'll still be some laugh out loud moments, especially with Jericho involved, embarrassing a heel, embarrassing a bad guy.
Of course.
And as Mr. Carter points out, Mike Tyson could get involved. You never know.
He could.
But there's so many people that are going to be in this match. I don't know, even if you bring in Tyson, if there's a numbers advantage there or not.
It's true.
I just think the Pinnacle gets it. Jericho maybe takes a little bit of time off, or starts that road to take a little bit of time off. But we need to get rid of a faction. And let's start right here, right now.
Jericho also wonders if he can still hang with the young kids.
Maybe.
Sad music plays. Something by Sarah McLachlan.
I will remember you.
I'm just picturing just sad
me
with the freaking crow makeup, the Painmaker.
And it's just teardrops coming down. Not even painted. He just lets it happen naturally.
Yeah, it's just letting the makeup run because he's like.
Yeah. But you're calling Inner Circle to win then, I take it?
I don't know. Like, I don't know where, and this is obviously something AEW could do. You could always bring something new in. But I feel like it has to end at Stadium Stampede, because where the hell do you go after that? We're like, and bull rope match, whatever. We're like.
Yeah, you went from a War Games match.
Yeah.
To Stadium Stampede, which is anything goes anywhere.
Yeah.
Into a regular elimination match to end it all.
Exactly. Like, let's go triple cage on top of each other.
I mean, we're used to them trading victories in pro wrestling. Yeah. We're used to that. So it's not unheard of. But like you said, where the hell, how do you top that?
That's the only thing that causes me not to call the Inner Circles. Like, I feel, obviously, Inner Circle wins, you have to go to tiebreaker. I think Pinnacle wins to establish dominance. I think like that's just how it has to happen at this point.
Yeah, come to the dark side, baby.
I don't think the Inner Circle is going away like you do.
Oh, they're going away. They said they put it on the line, baby. They put it on the line.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
They did.
Okay, well, ignore my part about them not going away.
No,
I'm still calling the Pinnacle.
and let's not. It's pro wrestling, so give it a year. They can reunite, and it's fine. But
Yeah,
I think just for the meantime, they go their separate ways. Teardrop, boo hoo. We move on because Lord knows there's another 28 factions to pay attention to.
I just want a small part of Dynamite every week to be dedicated to Jake Hager sitting in a corner looking sad. It's because no one will work with him. Or, what's Jake doing? Jake's just sad.
Sad Jake Hager. I like it.
Sad Jake Hager.
Perfect.
Okay. Last match for Double or Nothing. Kenny Omega, champion, versus Orange Cassidy versus Pac.
Yeah, or pack, like a pack of gum. Pack. I think Omega retains.
I do too.
And I think Omega retains thanks to Pac. I think the little tease promo that we got from Omega absolutely trashing the hell out of Orange Cassidy to his face.
Yeah.
At Blood and Guts is the beginning of a much longer storyline where eventually we find out that Omega is ducking Orange Cassidy as long as he can.
Yeah.
Because of the threat he is. So if Pac, who is really kind of number 2 in the rankings,
yes,
if he takes the fall, OC still loses.
Yep.
So there's still an argument from Omega that no, you lost. You shouldn't be ranked number 1, even though it's not a singles match.
Yeah,
it's what the heel does.
Yep.
So the heel's going to fight for OC to be in the back of the line, and he's going to duck him for a while until maybe it's all or nothing. Maybe it's a different show when finally he can't duck him anymore. That's when OC, a gimmick that before AEW people just probably thought was just a horrible gimmick. Okay, this guy's funny, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
has turned into a credible main eventer.
I found out recently that he was one of the colony ants in Chikara Pro.
Nice. Okay, I didn't know that either.
No, I read that and I was like, I totally see that now. Like, all right. I think it said he was Fire Ant, but God, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. I mean, great talent, and he adapted the character enough over AEW over the last year or two to really show that, he's that fun-loving guy, hands in his pockets, but yet he can get serious when he needs to. And him and Omega, when they do go one-on-one, is going to be worth it. But I would not give Pac or OC their first AEW World Championship in a triple threat. I wouldn't do it. I would let them be a one-on-one and let the crowd soak either one of those guys in, OC being the better choice, in my opinion.
No, I agree with that. And really, I just don't – Omega's not losing right now.
Right.
At least not the AEW title. I could see him at some point soon losing the TNA Impact titles. And
maybe that's from an Orange Cassidy interfering down the line, as an Omega has been ducking him for the other title.
That's true. Show up on the other show. I could see that.
Yeah, again, Impact's got to get something out of this.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but that will be a phenomenal match regardless.
I agree.
Really, most of the matches are going to be pretty stellar, with really Cody versus Agogo being the one that I'm a little less thrilled about, but I'm sure he'll bring it too. So
I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah.
So we'll get those predictions up on Facebook and Twitter and all the usual spots at Wrestling Audio if you'd like to give your thoughts. Again, don't mind us if the whole card is turned around in 24 hours. We can't predict the future. I mean, we did predict the future, but we can't predict the future.
Yeah, no, we do totally predict the future. But
right, yeah, but we don't want to predict that future. We predicted a different. Is this like an alternate reality thing? Is this like the multiverse?
It is.
The low blow and the multiverse of lameness.